Hello again, everybody. Todd Staruch here at the inaugural Atlantic City Celebrity Convention. We're winding down the second day of the con. It's been a very busy day. I've been admiring the view of the Atlantic Ocean and the Atlantic City Beach all day, and I have been having a blast talking to some of my favorite stars, music, and TV and movies. And I had a blast today watching the California Dreams perform, and that was just waves of nostalgia. And speaking of California Dreams, I'm standing here with Brentley Gore. Brentley, how are you?
I'm doing okay. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for just reuniting and coming out. And
yeah,
it really was a thrill. I'm not even kidding about
well,
that.
Thank you.
Like,
we appreciate that.
Those songs just made me happy.
Oh, I love it. Well, we have such a good time playing them, and we were so glad to be able to perform them all. And every time we get together and get up on stage and play those songs, we get to relive that too. You know, a song lasts forever, so
sure.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's good. Thank you.
So, you know, the show wrapped, you know, like around 30 years ago.
Yeah,
now,
it's getting longer.
Right? So does it surprise you, the warmth and nostalgia people still feel for the show after all this time?
You know, it did. It was, you know, when that first started coming back around, the resurgence of 90s nostalgia and things like that, I was like, well, you know, maybe they will remember us, maybe they won't. We certainly all had our fans that loved us and would you know, communicate with us, but I didn't realize the enormity of the amount of fans that we have. We were syndicated in 48 countries, and so we have a global outreach, you know. So the people that have been turning up for the shows in Los Angeles and New York and now Atlantic City have just been phenomenal. And we're just happy to be able to do it and get back together and do this for people.
Very cool.
Yeah,
very
thank
cool.
you.
Now I'm looking at your table, and I see, you know, you have your own CDs, your own musical career. Is making music and being part of the entertainment industry something you wanted to do from an early age?
It is, and I always knew when I was a young person, I'm a middle child, call it because I needed the most attention, I don't know. But I always knew that I loved entertainment the most. I feel the most at home on stage, you know, and that's always been that way for me. So you know, I left home and I lived in New York and I lived in Los Angeles, and I've always played music. And then when California Dreams came along, I got to do both, acting and music. And I think it was because of the music that I really got the role, you know.
Cool. So. Now, we talked a little bit before the camera rolled, but what were some of your biggest musical influences?
Well, you know, I have to give it up to the Beatles because I am a Beatle boy. You know, that Lennon McCartney and songwriting is very important to me, and those guys just, before the age of 30, you know, they accomplished monumental things. But I like rock and roll. I like the Stones. I like the singer-songwriters, you know. I think at the end of the day, I like Tom Petty a lot, you know. And even when I was younger, I did have my little funky phase, which was Prince. I'm a big Prince fan.
That's legit.
Yeah, you know. So Prince really changed a lot of things for me. When that Purple Rain came out and I was just a kid, I was just blown away. His guitar playing, all of that performance. So, you know, I think, you know, being a performer and being able to write and play instruments and sing, I really have to follow down the footsteps of the masters, and those guys are pretty much the masters for me, you know.
Very cool.
All those guys.
Very cool. So I have one final question for you before I leave you be, and I love asking it because I get so many different answers.
Yeah.
If you had one piece of advice, and since you straddle kind of two worlds,
if
you had one piece of advice you could give to a young musician or a young actor coming up in the business, what would that advice be?
It's a great question, and I have been asked this question, and I've done some speaking to groups of young people and artists that have done that. And I say the same thing. You have to know who you are in order to separate yourself from other people, because we're all unique and we're all individual. So the people who are coming up, if you're trying to act like someone else, you can borrow. You can borrow. If someone likes De Niro and they feel like they fit in that mold for acting, or they want to be a musician and they're like Prince. Then follow in those footsteps. But at the end of the day, the thing that's going to separate you is your own individual DNA, your own individual inspiration. And if you don't have that for yourself, then you got to get that first. And that's what's going to separate you from other people. And I think that's been the hardest thing. You learn from the masters, and then you apply that to yourself.
That's a great answer to that question.
Yeah, thank you.
I love it.
Thank you.
So before we go, any new projects you're working on that you'd like to share?
No, I mean, I just finished this CD. It's called At the Ready. Just finished it. It has masters on it. Greg Bissonette, who plays for Ringo, and Matt Bissonette, their brothers. Matt played drums and bass, and Michael Thompson. Amazing players, and I'm really proud of this CD. And then my first one, I had like guys from Paul McCartney's first band, Denny Sywell on drums, and my music's the most important thing to me, really, because it's so part of my soul. So, my Spotify and my music streaming services, I'm on there. And apart from California Dreams, if you want to check out some other stuff, that stuff would be great. Come follow me, give me a listen if you like it, and, I'm going to be doing music probably till I tap out.
Awesome. Brentley, thank you
man.
so much for a few minutes of your time. I wish you much success with everything that you're doing. And again, like I said to the rest of your castmates, I hope that you do realize somewhere that the joy that you bring to people over the years. Like I said, the music just made me feel good. Like when Thursday and then today hearing you play, that was cool.
Really
So,
appreciate
thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a good one.
You too.
All right.
Brentley Gore, everybody from California Dreams. Check out his music all over the place. These people deserve your support. They really do. This is Todd Sturridge, the Horror Nerd, signing off from Atlantic City Celebrity Convention. We'll see all of you in the next interview.
Thanks, guys.